with Mr. Grant Richards from Belfast originally. There he is in New York. How
Hi.
are you?
I'm good. How are you? Thanks.
Doing fine, doing fine, yeah. So you want to tell us a little bit about what your involvement with the Maskers was?
Sure. So I first started with the Maskers in my high school times, right? I was doing some high school theater, and I knew that there was some theater community groups around Belfast, some really great groups, and I joined. I was approached, I think, by Ann Ames, and I joined, and it was a wonderful space for me to begin my pre-professional career and have an outlet in the arts, and I'm really grateful. So yeah, that was probably my start, was mid high school, end of high school, definitely through my early college years. But
Yeah, I think, did you kind of come home in the summers, at least a couple years of college, and do some choreography and some
yeah. Well, so one of my
acting
first shows with the Maskers was, I think, Brigadoon, and that was probably my favorite show, let alone my first show with Maskers. Just because of the accessibility to the community, and Belfast can be such a strong supporter of the arts, and to perform outside on like a 3-tier stage with so many like different multi-generational groups, in the act of live theater, was so memorable and beautiful. So I loved that. That was my start.
Great. So do you have a favorite Masker memory that comes to mind?
Well, I really loved the ability to come back. Once I started with the Maskers, I started as an actor. I went off to college, to get my BFA, and I was able to come back. It was a wonderful ground for me to start, actually creating other art. So, doing choreography, assistant directing, to come home. I would do like summer stock, of course, as all, starting actors do in various, theaters across the Northeast on my summers in college. And then for short little week breaks, I'd come home and I would choreograph a whole show in a week for the Maskers, or I would, come in and help dance captain or clean, or that was I'm so grateful for that.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. So kind of catch us up with what you've been doing professionally.
Yeah, of course.
Since you moved to New York.
Yeah, so I actually went to Nazareth College in Rochester after Belfast, and I got my BFA in musical theater, and I minored in dance. And I left NAS my last semester. I moved to New York City and did this BFA musical theater honors program with Syracuse University that a lot of colleges do, BOCO, Boston Conservatory, Carnegie Mellon. A lot of schools do that, and so I got a head start, which is awesome. And I, in college, continued to work summer stock and actually do some regional shows. While I was at school, I would drive, and so I really broke ground professionally as an equity actor at Merry-Go-Round Playhouse in upstate New York, which is now Finger Lakes Musical Theater Festival. And that was a wonderful, similar to Belfast Maskers, that allowed me to learn a lot and take the next step in my tier. And then I moved to New York my last semester of senior year, and I was grateful enough and lucky enough to book get a few agents on my side. And right after college, immediately out, I booked an off-Broadway show called America the Golden Land, which was my off-Broadway debut. And after that, I did some readings and workshops in between. And right after that, I left and went on the Broadway tour of the Cinderella.
And you came to Maine for that.
I did. I came to Maine. That was so full circle, and that's really great. That was my first theatrical touring. I had done a little bit of touring with music as Josh Groban's backup singer in college, and but that was my first theatrical tour, and it was so great to come to Maine. It was to see familiar faces in the audience.
Yeah, I bet you had a whole crew of.
I did. It was surreal.
Yeah.
So I did that, and then I left the tour, and I began, which turned into a nearly 2-year show of Fiddler on the Roof, directed by Joel Grey, which was
And it was entirely in Yiddish, right?
in Yiddish and some Russian.
Oh, that must have been amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty surreal. You know, as an actor, you learn, and especially during these times of quarantine, you have to do a lot of self-tapes. You know, you tape sides or songs or reels from home. And so I was on the road, and I had done that because they were interested in seeing me for the show. And I got an offer, and I initially had to decline because I couldn't leave the Cinderella tour early. And then Joel was like, no, I really want him. So as soon as the tour was over, they made me another offer. And I came and I swung the show. So in theater, of course, swinging means you cover many tracks, anywhere from 5 to 15. And so I swung the show in Yiddish. I took over the role of Sasha for a bit. And in the middle of Fiddler, I recorded the Fiddler cast album, my first big cast album. And then I left to play adult Billy and Billy Elliot in DC, which was an incredible show. I was there for about 6 months.
Oh.
And then I came back and I was put back into Fiddler, and I would swing and take over roles and swing and take over roles. And then I originated the role of Chance. Oh, well, I guess in the middle there, something big was what started as an off-Broadway show downtown, then transferred uptown to 42nd Street. So Fiddler came uptown, which is a huge move to a bigger house, you know, more money, more audience members, more producers. So then I originated this role, Chance, in the musical Chance by Richard Eisen, and that was actually just down the street at 42nd. So I left Fiddler for a bit, and I would walk by. It was a wonderful show, my second show that I got to record music for. And then I went back to Fiddler, and I did that for about...
Sorry, my dog's barking.
No, it's okay. No, he says I love this interview. No, and then I finished out Fiddler, and it was wonderful. And, you know, before coronavirus happened, Fiddler was supposed to go on tour. We were supposed to go to China. They were going to mount it at the Australian Opera House. Like, I had some big plans, which still may happen, but I'm very grateful we ended when we did, because it was right before this all started. And to end because of, you know, a pandemic would have sort of been heartbreaking, but we ended with like an official closing in New York, which was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's like a summary of theater, I guess, that I've been doing since.
Some really great stuff, Grant. That's amazing.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm very, very grateful, very humble. You know, I've been able to affect a lot of audience members, which I feel fulfilled by, and do some really great work. You know, part of, you know, Anne's and the Maskers when I first started, and I know that you guys keep it going, is you guys do really great works that aren't necessarily, you know, they're commercial and that they'll bring in, you know, audience members and money and people enjoy, but they also are meaningful. You know, they're to do works that, you know, spark ideas or change people emotionally, or, you know, or really great classics that are, you know, built theater, TV, film, and music for generations. You know, Maskers is always.
That's what, 32 years now. So.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty amazing.
That's incredible.
Amazing. So you would say that being part of the Maskers did affect your...
Yeah, it jump-started everything. It started a love for everything. I mean, before the Maskers, I was really heavy in music. I was really into music, and I thought I wanted to go into commercial music, and I did, you know, Berkeley colleges. I did one of their pre-college programs, and I was like, I'm gonna do music, you know, but dance was also a big part of my life, and Maskers was one of the things that sort of was like, well, why don't you do everything? You know, well, not everything. That sounds facetious. You know, all the mediums are in theater. Yeah,
they are. And, you know, and it's nice because you're a triple threat. You know, that certainly helps, you know, that you're and the dancer and an actor.
More and more competitive,
yeah,
especially in the Broadway scene.
Absolutely.
You know,
so, well, I got to ask you, this is just me personally. What was it like to work with Joel Grey?
He really wonderful. He's hilarious. He's a riot. He is, you know, part of the reason I think a lot of us got cast is because we really focus on emotional integrity and really focus on, you know, the truth and raw emotion and how to affect audience members deeply. And I think, especially in the New York scene, sometimes that gets lost. You know, of course, to, you know, very valid to make money on theater. That's wonderful. And I mean, there are a lot of productions that do both, and we happen to be one of them that do both. And so he was really, I mean, our set was pretty bare. I mean, it was beautiful and expensive and well designed, but it allowed actors to be seen, you know, and he wanted it to be relevant, you know. So even though it was in Yiddish, we had built into the set, we had subtitles.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
So, yeah, we had English and Russian subtitles built into the set. So, you know, but most audience members, I mean, we had hundreds of thousands. Most audience members said they, at some points, didn't even look. They didn't need to. Like, the emotion spoke.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah, but he's great. Everyone's so close with him. He's funny. He's right.
He's always been one of my favorites.
Yeah. Oh.
So yeah, that's just amazing. So any advice for anybody that's watching this that thinks that they might actually like to go into theater, either with a technical theater or as an actor, musician?
Right. Everything. Yeah, I think, you know, first and foremost, we have to just really value what the arts are, right? Mm-hmm. You know, during this, especially like we're all seeing right now during this time, we're all watching TV and movies and listening to music or looking at, you know, video picture creations on social media. And, you know, so our society would really be so much nothingness without art, you know. So first, I would say, like, your desire is valid. You know, your desire is so important to society and the growth of humans and affecting people and entertaining. It's so valid. And so, secondly, I would say, you know, just like find deep down why you want to, right? I think a lot of people go into the arts, you know, valid because they like, you know, like the idea of the stage and the screen and, you know, and fame, right? But you know, at a certain point, that is all there. It is a lot of the time, and you know, so that is not necessarily fulfilling. You know, what fulfills me, and I would love to say to other artists, is just make sure that you are coming from a place when you produce work or you go on stage or you step in front of a camera on set, that you come from a place of wanting to change audience members. You know, if I go on stage or I do a show or I record music or whatever, and if I know that an audience member is changed from the moment they started what I created till I ended, that is something that nothing else in the world can do in the same way that performance, live, recorded, you know, art, music, and dance, anything can do. And so to come from a place of fulfillment and affecting people and changing people, I think will help you attain any goal you want. That'll wake you, and you will continue to train and continue to take class and continue to network and create and never lose that sort of drive.
That's good. That's really good advice. I've had some other professionals say that you should really know that there's nothing else that you can see yourself doing. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, I think deep down you have to know you love this to death, right? You love this inexplicably and unexplainably, you know, to do this sort of work, because it can be hard. It can be hard. It's challenging. It's a competitive field, and sometimes, you know, a lot of your work doesn't get the appreciation it deserves, or you know, you can't change society. You just gotta. That's part of the artist's way. You gotta flow and you gotta go. And you know, if there's other things you can do, then maybe you can combine both of them, right? So say like you want to go into the medical field, right? But you want some sort of like artistic, you know, art form. You're a wonderful painter, you know, consider a surgeon. What they do with their hands is so art-based, you know.
Yeah.
It's you know, so I think, yes, if there's anything else you can do, why not pursue it? Pursue everything. But if you really love the art, it's something that's so important to the world.
I mean, it consumes your life.
It does.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it does.
Yeah. The guitar.
It does. No, I wouldn't have it any other way. It's art has given me so much.
Yeah.
And, you know, provided, you know, people that say it's financially difficult, it is, because a lot of society's funds don't go to the arts, you know. But if you really love it and you get to a certain point, you know, everyone's the same talent caliber, you know, it's worth it. It all starts at levels like Belfast Maskers.
Yeah.
You know, it all starts in high school programs and in community theater and supporting music, dance, art departments. I mean, everything's valid.
Yeah, great. So is there anything else you want to tell us?
I don't know. I'm so grateful to Belfast. Belfast is such an awesome town, and the surrounding areas, you know, from a young age, just, you know, from everything from like the painted bears on the streets to, you know, Belfast summer nights. It's a wonderful ground for creativity and pursuing your dream. And so if you're watching this from Belfast, thanks if you ever had a you know, moment in supporting me, and thank you, Meg, for all you did. Meg, you know, you gave me one of my first high school shows. Do you remember?
I do. Yeah. Yeah, you don't forget somebody like you.
Oh, that's
you know, everybody here is very proud of you. I hope you know that.
Thank you.
And what you've done, the way you've handled yourself, and, you know, your grace. So we really, really, really love that.
Thank you. It's a community effort. You know, if you're watching out there, just support your children and what they do. I had parents that really just allowed me to, you know, pursue what I wanted, and it's not like they were at a financial gain, or, you know, they were just allowed their kid to have freedom and gave everything they could for that. And I'm so grateful to my parents and the community for allowing that to happen.
Well, thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, thank you. This is awesome.
And we hope we get to see you again.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah.